I've been getting a lot of requests to make a flipbook tutorial, so in this video I'm going to show you how to make these 3 flipbooks, and then at the end of the video I'll show you some of the advanced options that I currently use. So this is what you're going to need: a stack of paper, binder clips, and a light source. For your paper, I recommend starting with index cards. You could use a stack of post-it notes or a notepad or the corner pages of your math book, but I recommend cards because they are thicker and much better to flip. We'll start with something super simple. I'm just going to draw a stick man and I'm going to have him wave. Now, the key to keeping your drawings consistent and matching from page to page is you need to be able to see through your current page to your previous drawing so that you can reference it as you draw your next page. So here I'm using a light, and now I can see the previous page, draw over the top of it, and make any changes I want. I'm speeding up the video here, and again, this is just super simple to kind of show you basically how it works. So I'm tracing over his body and moving his arm a little bit for each page. I'm going to make his arm go back and forth about 3 times here. And there are several options you can use for a light source. You could use a light box, an LED tracing pad. If you had nothing else, you could hold the paper up to a bright window. This light pad that I'm using is the one that I've designed that will be included in my flipbook kit. So again, we're keeping this extremely simple. I'm keeping the stickman's body the same, and I'm just moving his arm as he waves. Okay, so now that I've drawn his arm going back and forth a few times, I'm going to have him just drop his arm down to his side, and then I'll be done. So now you just want to line up your pages, and then you can use a binder clip to hold them together. You can get binder clips in different sizes. This is a large and a medium. And let's see how it looks. So if you've never made a flipbook before, this is a really easy first one to try. Okay, so next I'm going to make a bouncing ball flipbook. So I'll start by drawing the ball here near the top. And what I want to do is I want it to feel like the ball is dropping in from above the page. So my first increment is going to be pretty big since the ball is already going to be at speed. This isn't going to be perfect, but I'll draw the next one about here. And then each page you want that distance that the ball travels to be bigger. And the reason for that is because of how gravity works. When an object falls, it doesn't fall at a constant speed, it accelerates. So one thing that might help here is to do a Google image search for bouncing ball animation. And you'll find some diagrams of how a ball bounces, which will give you some good references to follow. But just remember that it doesn't have to be perfect, just try it out, have fun with it. And now on this page, I'm actually making the ball more of an oval shape, and this will help it to feel like it's moving even faster on this frame. And you'll notice when I flip it, you almost just kind of feel it more than you see it. And now the impact as it hits the ground and squashes flat. Now this next page is just starting to spring back up. Now we're back up in the air. Since gravity is working against us now, the ball is slowing down as it goes up, so we want to make our distance traveled each page to decrease until the ball finally starts falling again. Okay, and we're getting pretty slow here, and now it's just starting to fall back down. And now that it's falling back down, of course, it's accelerating again, so we make the distance increase each page until it hits the ground again. And I'm not squishing it as much as I did the first time since it's going slower, so it squishes less. So for this third bounce, it's just going up a little bit, and now it's falling back down again, giving it a little squish, tiny little bounce, and then just settling. Okay, let's see how it looks. And there we have our bouncing ball. Okay, and one more time, slow down so you can see exactly what's happening on each page. All right, for the third flipbook, I'm going to have a UFO come down and abduct this little stick person. So this first drawing I'm making is just going to be used as a template. I just want to figure out what my UFO is going to look like beforehand. So on these first few pages, I'm just gonna have the stick person standing there before the UFO appears. And now on this page, the UFO is just starting to appear, so we just see the bottom of it coming into view. And I'm just tracing my template here to help me out a bit. And now I can just trace that same drawing, and it's coming down a little further. Tracing a template drawing like this isn't something that you have to do. It just it helps sometimes if you just want an easy way to make sure that your drawings look the same from page to page. Sometimes you have an object moving across the page that it doesn't need to change shape. All it needs to do is move across, and so in that case, you know, just tracing a drawing as it moves along is pretty easy. Now at this point, I'm no longer using the template drawing. I'm just referencing the previous page like normal. Just remember not to get too worried about making things perfect. The most important thing is just to have fun with it. So here the energy beam is just starting to appear below the UFO, and I want it to appear pretty quickly, so I'm just drawing this one in-between frame before it fully reaches the ground. And then as the stick person starts to get pulled up, you'll see that I'm stretching him out because he's getting pulled up really quickly. And anytime something's moving quickly, you can always try adding some stretch or squash to your drawing and see if it helps how it feels. Okay, now we're just going to see his legs, and then the bottoms of his feet. And now the beam is going back up. It's a little hard to see here, but what I'm doing on these couple frames, I'm just moving the UFO upward a little bit for a couple of pages, and then it's going to just whoosh away and leave a blur behind. And for the blur, I'm just going to do some sketchy lines on like 2 pages. And that's it. Okay, let's see how it looks. And one more time slowed down so you can see exactly what's happening. So those are the basics to help you get started, and earlier I mentioned some advanced options that I currently use. This is some custom paper that I had made. It's acid-free, it's really smooth, and it feels really nice when you flip it. You know, binder clips are great, and I use them while I'm making a flipbook, but once it's finished, I like to bind it together with these brass binding screws. I really love the way these things look. I think it finishes it off really nicely, and it keeps the paper perfectly in line. And this, of course, is my custom light pad, which I designed specifically for flipbook making. All these things are part of my flipbook kit, and I'll put a link to that in the video description. So that's my basic flipbook tutorial. I hope that helps. If you have any questions, please leave them below and I'll do my best to answer. And if you thought this video was helpful, please subscribe and hit that like button. I've got lots more flipbook and animation videos on the way. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.